All right, folks, Mark here again, cooking the books and bringing the info. So I'm sitting here writing my book, and I decided to take a quick little breather. My brain's kind of on overdrive. So real quick, my book, Nature versus Nurture, or is it neither? Is it the ether? Subtitled. I'm trying to have it done. Not trying. Let me be careful what the words that I use. I'm very monitor my words. Words are power, so you have to make sure you're very deliberate and purposeful with the words that you stitch or sow your life with. Uh, I will have my book done by December. That's my deadline. You want to give yourself deadlines, folks. Put pressure on yourself, uh, and just kind of so that you don't slack off or get too complacent or comfortable, right? So yeah. So real quick, I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about. I'm actually in a chapter right now where I discuss MSG, monosodium glutamate, which is a food enhancer used by corporations to keep us coming back to eating their substandard, cheap, peddled products that they peddle to us. It's again, it's a taste. It enhances the taste and flavoring of foods, right? It's pretty much in all commercially packaged canned foods and so on and so forth. But the, 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 the reason why I'm actually writing and talking about this in my book right now, the MSG, is because MSG is found to damage brain cells, damage areas of the brain, namely the hypothalamus, right? The hypothalamus is responsible for the secretion of leptin. Leptin regulates your appetite. Let me say that again. Leptin, leptin, is a chemical secreted by the hypothalamus that regulates your appetite. So it pretty much is a switch that tells you when you're full. It turns your appetite on and off. Okay, it's saying, okay, you're full. Satiety, which is satisfaction, has been reached. Turn off the appetite, right? So MSG actually damages the hypothalamus and interrupts the secretion of that. It interrupts the secretion of leptin, which communicates and signals to the brain that you're full. So if there's the message, the signal into the brain that you're full has been interrupted, disturbed, that means you're going to continue to eat. So they found in research and studies that obesity follows the consumption of MSG. Too much MSG leads to a lot of obesity, amongst other illnesses. And we know obesity leads to heart, liver, lungs, or obesity is just overall no good, right? Inertia, sluggishness, so on and so forth. So that's the downside of MSG. But the reason why that's just one aspect that I'm writing about right now. But I'm also writing about something called your natural resonance or your natural frequency. This is so vitally important that we understand this. I talked about it in my last bit in a few videos prior to resonance. But I want to draw. I didn't talk about this part of it. This is interesting, right? This analogy that God dropped in my mind as I'm writing is an amazing analogy, right? Your credit score. Your credit score. If you can get this, your credit score is analogous of your rate of vibration, which is your natural state that you vibrate, your vibratory state. That with no external forces, nothing externally influencing you, this is where you reside, right? This is your natural rate, right? When sleeping, if you do nothing, this is the state, the range that you vibrate within, right? Between 10 and 20, 20 and 40, 40 and 80, so on and so forth, right? There's a range that you're naturally always in. That's called your natural resonance or your resonant frequency. Now, why your credit score? Here's why your credit score. God gave me this. I know it came from God, right? Your credit score is the physical illustration or manifestation of how your vibratory rate works. Here's why. This is very important stuff. This is amazing, amazing. Your credit score is going to determine where you live in life. Let that sink in. Your credit score will determine where you live, right? Your credit score will determine the kind of vehicle you drive, right? The kind of vehicle you drive could determine the kind of women you date, right? That's loaded. You can take from that what you will, but I'm sure you're intelligent enough. My audience is intelligent enough to get what I'm saying. Your credit score will determine where the neighborhood you live in, right? How so? Well, your credit score determines the type of loan the banks will give you. The credit score will determine the amount of loan the banks will give you. It will also determine your interest rate, right? Your cost to borrow. Your credit score determines your cost to borrow. Your cost to borrow is your interest rate, the amount you pay back to the bank to borrow the loan. That will determine the amount of loan you can get, your credit score, and therefore the type of house you can buy, and therefore the type of neighborhood you can live in. So your credit score determines all of this: where you live, the kind of car you buy, the kind of women you might end up dating, right? Uh, your credit score will determine even the kind of job, the kind of career you might have, right? Because nowadays, some companies, if your credit score is not looking good, depending on where you're going, if you're in finance, right? If you're going into finance, your credit score could be something that they look at to determine whether you should be advising people on finance, if you're a financial advisor, or et cetera, or whatever, right? So your credit score, also, this is important. Your credit score will determine the kind of, it will determine the kind of other financial institutes or instruments you attract to yourself, right? Because if you have a nice looking credit score, you have a high credit score, you're going to attract uh, higher quality financial institutions, right? What I mean by that is the higher your credit score, the more loans credit card companies are willing to give you. So you're going to attract, American Express. You're going to attract other prime rate institutions that's going to want you as their client. They're going to want you, right? They're going to want to put you in debt. So you know what I mean? They look at you as, okay, this person's responsible. Let's give them more debt, right? And then they're going to charge you some exorbitant type rate, and then they make their money on the back end. But the point I'm making to you is this: your credit score, which is a rate, that rate is going to determine the kind of company you might work at, the kind of car you might drive, the neighborhood, the type of house, the type of banks that want to do business with you. It's going to attract certain things to you. So that's how your credit score works. And I saw the correlation between that and your rate of vibration. And I thought to myself, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing stuff. Your vibratory rate, which I just mentioned a few minutes ago, is going to determine the kind of things you attract to yourself. The rate that you vibrate in, the natural resonant frequency, your natural resonant frequency will determine the kind of women you're going to date. It will determine the kind of woman that will date you. Your rate of vibration will determine the kind of career you end up in, the kind of career that attracts you, the kind of people that you attract, and the kind of people that attracts you. This is your rate of vibration. Uh, your rate of vibration will determine uh, the kind of clothes that you wear. It's going to determine the kind of foods that you eat. Your rate of vibration will determine the kind of music that you like to listen to. Your rate of vibration is going to determine the kind of movies you like to watch, your content consumption. Your rate of vibration will determine the activities that you engage in. It's going to determine what activities you engage your attention to, that you put your attention to. It's going to determine what kind of activities are going to have a magnetic pull on you. Your rate of vibration is going to determine all aspects of your life, the type of school, if you're in school, that you're going to go into, the subjects that you're going to be attracted to, the subject matters that you're going to be attracted to. Your rate of vibration, like your credit score, is going to determine all aspects of your life. Making a very general statement here. You know what I mean? Your credit score, your rate, which is your rate, a score, and your rate of vibration, your vibratory rate, your natural resonance, they both work uh, almost identically. The difference is one is a physical manifestation, your credit score, whereas the other is ethereal, etheric. It's spirit. It exists in the invisible realm, but they are. This is why I do believe in what's called a parallel universe, because in this sense they're parallel, right? You have one universe which is three-dimensional. The credit your credit score, which is a rate, that exists in three-dimensional uh, in the three-dimensional universe, right? Whereas, again, it's in the physical, tangible universe. You can see your credit score. You can literally touch the paper that have your score on it, right? You can see the effects of it, the car, the house, again, the type of women, whatever. Your credit score will attract certain things to you in the financial realm, which exists in three-dimensional existence. Whereas your vibratory rate, right, which is your natural resonance, exists in the ethereal or the etheric, or again, the fifth, fourth, six other dimensions that are not subject to the realm that we see. So this is why I personally do believe, I know that there's such thing as parallel universe. And it's not just a parallel universe, it's plural. It's parallel universe is. I don't know if you can say universes. I think you can. I don't know if that's grammatically correct. You can spell check me, whatever. But there's more than just one universe, folks, and we exist in all of them simultaneously. But that's physics and quantum mechanics. We're not going to go into that right now. But the point I'm trying to make is this, though: your credit score, see the correlation, see the wisdom, and if you can understand how that works, if you understand how your credit score works, then you'll understand how your vibratory rate works. And now the thing is, like how you have to do certain things to make sure your credit score is good, right? You have to contact the three agencies, the Experian, the Equifax. You have to make sure that everything's reported accurately and correctly, and you have to be on top of your finances responsibly, et cetera, et cetera. And you have a healthy score, and you know your score. The important thing is to know your score, which is the middle score, right? Because that's the one they really look at. So you need to know your middle score. If you know what your middle score is, then you kind of know what you're going to attract to yourself financially. You're going to know the kind of car loan you can get, the house loan, the women, the neighborhood, et cetera, right? So having a cognizance, being cognizant of that score will allow you how you can operate financially. Okay, now take that over into the etheric spirit realm, the other multi-dimension, and apply those same rules, and you'll understand. Okay, I need to know what range my natural frequency is. I need to know where do I reside naturally, not when I'm with friends, with company, at my job, outside. No, I need to know where I am when I'm isolated, because your natural resonance is you're only going to find it and give you a little hint to find your natural range, your frequency, just like your credit score. To find your natural frequency, your natural resonance, you have to isolate. You have to be in isolation. You have to be. Why? Because physics teaches that outside influences, outside forces will change your rate of vibration, right? I could be sitting here by myself right now. If a loud bang goes off, something happens loud outside of me, it's going to elicit a reaction out of me, right? I might jump, I might twitch, I might look. So therefore, my range is going to be altered or modified to some degree, and then it'll come back. Once I understand what the external stimuli was, the stimulant, once I become conscious and cognizant of the stimulant, then I can return to my natural rate. So it's important. The only way to find out your natural rate is to be in a state of isolation. So meditation is an excellent way to find out your natural state. Also, self-reflection, just introspection, being by yourself and knowing yourself, learning yourself. What do you naturally like to do? If there's nothing else, what would you do right now naturally, and it would not be work to you? You don't have to get paid to do it, and you just naturally enjoy doing it. That's one way, one aspect. There's many other things, but that's one where you can say, okay, say this right here indicates where my natural resonance lies, where my natural frequency is. And then you look at other areas, and you take them all, and then you can kind of put them, mix them together. And you can say, okay, this is my natural rate. No difference in your credit score, right? Like I said, you don't with your credit score. It's not like, okay, you look at Experian. No, you got to look at all of them. You got to look at Equifax, right? You got to get Experian, right? You got to get all three agencies, and then you take them all, right? And then they adjust them, right? And then they give you the middle score, right? They take the top, the high, the low, and then there's the middle, and they say, okay, this is where the person natural state of resonance is. You see how I'm tying the two in together? So don't get so caught up in the minutiae and the details, but focus on the principles and apply the same principles to yourself, and you'll find your natural state of resonance, where you reside. And once you find that, then you know, like your credit score, what you're going to be attracting. If you have a low score, you're not going to attract American Express. You might get one of those little bullshit credit card companies that give you like $300. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a real good credit score, you're gonna get American Express, right? They're gonna give you the Premier, right? They're gonna give you the Platinum, right? They're gonna give you where you can use credit up to $5,000, as opposed to one of these little Capital One credit cards that give you $300, right? So and again, so it depends on where your score is, your rate. So you take those same financial principles and apply them to your spirit self and find out where your resonant frequency is. And if you can do that and do that to some degree with some degree of accuracy, you can know exactly what you're going to be You're going to know what kind of people you're going to constantly meet. You're going to know what kind of people you attract. You're going to know what kind of people you won't attract. You will know more about yourself than any other. There's no mirror in the world that can show you these things about yourself more accurately than understanding your resonant frequency, your natural state of resonance, your rate of vibration. Uh, yeah, so yeah, I just want to share that with you guys. Hopefully, you guys can apply some of that. Hopefully, it makes some sense to you. I know it's a little dense, it's a little gross. So if you want to watch this video more than once, kind of break it down a little bit. Again, it's something that you got to kind of really, really sink your teeth into to fully grasp it. And it takes time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of meditation, a lot of transcendental meditation, mindful meditation, a lot of just self. You got to kind of dig in. Don't look outward. You got to look inward. But if you can understand the credit card concept and your credit scores, excuse me, and how that works, and take some of those methodologies and techniques and apply them to your spiritual, ethereal, and spirit self, then you'll see how the two exist almost parallel and works almost the same way. All right. So till next time, Mark here, Cooking Books. If you like the video, hit a like, share, leave a comment. You guys leave likes, but nobody leave comments. Leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know even if you don't like it. Say, yo, this video sucks, man. Whatever. Say something. Damn it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Peace.